Seanan McGuire is a writer, artist, and folk singer, and her debut novel, Rosemary and Rue, is coming out from Daw Books in September. We recently sat down with Seanan and asked her about her new series.
Rosemary and Rue is an urban fantasy. It's set in San Francisco, obviously, that's the sort of surface. But what it really is about is the depth of things that we already think we know. There's an enormous amount in there that's drawn from traditional fairy and folk tales, from stories that a lot of us have heard when we were little children, that sort of thing. But it's all a distorted view of the actual history of fairy. And you've got October, who's dealing with all of this, and she's dealing with a mortal world that's full of things that are deeper than she thinks, and a fairy world that's full of things that are deeper than she thinks. And so it is sort of about looking past surfaces of things. If you look back in the old stories, iron was usually the invention that started letting man hold back the fae, and you'd put iron horseshoes above your door, or you would put the iron bar across your window. So there was always a strong indication that iron would have a protective quality. There are some stories, there are traditions, especially from the Welsh and parts of the French tradition, where fae could only be hurt by iron, and anything else they would just recover from, sort of like silver for werewolves. And then if you look at when we stopped getting the stories about the really threatening fae and the fae that you didn't want to mess with and you didn't want to offend, and when we were instead getting Tinkerbell and the little flower fairies at the bottom of the garden, you know, oh, they're so cute, let's go play with them. That really happened as we started having mass manufacture of iron, and as we started having ways to make more efficient machines more quickly. And there would be more iron just everywhere. You'd have the iron run off in the water, you would have rust seeping into the soil. So if you assume that iron is something that fairies can't handle, then it makes a lot of sense for a world where they were always here, they just went away, that what drove them off to a certain degree would be the iron seeping into the world and making it harder to handle. I went to high school with a girl named October Blaze, who everyone sort of assumed her mother really wanted her to sound like a stripper. And she insisted that everyone call her Toby. And if you called her October, she would threaten physical violence. I thought that was just lovely. So I asked her one day if I could name a character after her, and she said yes, but only as long as I gave them a last name that was as bad as hers was. So I always knew I wanted to call someone October, and then one day I thought of October Day, especially since she's born in 1954. This really kind of does help give the impression that her mother wasn't sure what to do with her, or how to deal with the mortal world very well, because who names their child October in 1954? And her middle name is Christine, just to give her that little added random normalcy.
Expecting any new readers in the family? Or future writers? Visit penguin.com and stock up on the newest Penguin gear, including onesies and other kid-friendly products, available for all the readers in your life, including the littlest ones. Books are cool.